12-2 on 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge. Hunt, appreciate a few minutes of your time. Hey, what was the reaction from LSU fans when the regional pairings came out and it was indeed LSU on the road as opposed to playing at the box?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster there the last 2 weeks. LSU was in pretty good shape, and then Ole Miss comes in and sweeps them, and you think that hope is done, and then all of a sudden they go to Nashville and just blow Vanderbilt out for 3 days, and you're kind of thinking, okay, they're right back in the mix. You get that Wednesday win against Kentucky in the SEC tournament, kind of feel good about it. But once they lost the next two, you saw the RPI drop to 25. They had 10 Quadrant 1 wins. They also had 7 wins between 51 and 56, which were just outside of Quad 1. And the metrics just didn't line up. None of the national prognostications had LSU as a host. I came out on Twitter and said I just didn't see it in the numbers, and I think everyone had kind of resigned themselves to that when the sites came out. I still certainly watched, but I wasn't very hopeful.
Yeah. This LSU team has been fascinating. When they've been healthy, offensively, they're as good as anybody else in the country. But the absence of Jacob Berry and Cade Doty and I guess Gavin Dugas as well has been telling for an offense that at one point looked explosive and unstoppable, and then just kind of looked a little bit pedestrian. I know Jay Johnson said today that Jacob Berry and Cade Doty likely to be back. Do you expect them, if they are back, to be able to pick up right where they left off, kind of swinging it like crazy?
So I'll take them individually. As far as Berry goes, in Tuscaloosa in weekend number 7 in SEC play, he gets a ground ball off the finger and has a hairline fracture. He sits the next weekend against Ole Miss. We know what happened there. And he came back against Vanderbilt and only hit right-handed. Now, this is a guy who has 15 home runs on the year, hitting 380, and 14 home runs are from the left side. So he's far more effective from the left side, but a good hitter right-handed. He hit great right-handed against Vanderbilt. And then he didn't play in Hoover. I think they just wanted to rest him. I think it's reasonable to expect Jacob Berry to be in the lineup on Friday and pretty effective. If he turns around and hits left-handed, you really know he's feeling a lot better, and you've got one of the best hitters in college baseball. I think that is absolutely reasonable to expect. And even if he has to hit right-handed, he had a few really impressive singles right on right in Vanderbilt. So I expect him to go. Doty dove to his left in Nashville in Game 3 when it was all decided, and very clearly on the TV you can tell he's dislocated his shoulder. The trainers came out. He had gone to the fetal position, kind of violently contorted his body, and they popped it back in. He popped up off the ground and matter-of-factly walked off the field. And, you know, I think that they said there's no structural damage. It's just going to be sore. He's going to be sore this weekend. So whether he can play defense, whether he can hit, that would mean Berry might have to play defense if Doty's got to be a DH. That's more of a question mark. I think both are going to give it a try. I think it's more likely than not that Berry's feeling pretty good and that Doty may be a little bit compromised.
So the two things that have stood out to me this year with LSU that make me question their ability to make a deep run in the postseason, obviously defense. I mean, that's a story that's been told over and over and over, and it's so un-LSU-like to see a team that's so bad defensively. But the pitching, to me, is just okay. I know there's some really good arms out of the pen, and when Mikhail Hilliard is on with the breaking ball, like, you know, he throws the little curveball just to kind of get you over, get a strike, steal a strike, and then he's got the hammer. And when that's working, he's really, really good. But I don't feel that works but about 1 out of every 3 times, and that's kind of taken like a 3-year sample size. Am I crazy for looking at Hilliard that way?
No, you're not. I mean, it doesn't look great when you look at it, and then all of a sudden he rattled off between last year and this year 14 straight winning decisions where he hadn't lost. So it doesn't look like Alex Lang. It doesn't look like Aaron Nola. It doesn't look like Kevin Gausman. It doesn't look like Anthony Renato, all these aces that LSU's rolled out there for years, and he's not in that class. I don't even want to consider him in that class. But he gets out. And with an offense as good as LSU's is, that's been sufficient. My worry is not Mikhail, if I'm an LSU fan. It's everybody else.
After that,
there's just he's going to go whenever they give him the ball, whether it's Friday or it's Saturday. He's going to pitch 6 innings. He's going to give up 2 or 3 runs, and he'll keep LSU right in whatever game they give him. It's just what happens around him that's far more of a wild card. As far as the defense goes, I've kind of said this. They're never going to be a very good defensive team. You just have to hope that the error comes like it did in the first game of the SEC tournament. They hit a ground ball to Thompson. He fired it into the bleachers with 2 outs and nobody on. They got the next guy out, and it was fine. It can't be what happened in the first game in Fayetteville where all of a sudden you've got a 3-run lead and you kick 2 balls in the infield and throw 1 away, and now you lose the game because you've made 2 ridiculous errors in the 8th inning. So they're not going to be good on defense. They just got to hope it doesn't bite them at the worst time. The good news is I think defense is a little easier to play on a turf field, and that's certainly what they've got up there in Hattiesburg. So maybe it's a little bit better, but the bats are going to have to cover for a lot of this stuff.
Visiting with Hunt Palmer on the Farm Bureau phone line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau, radio host at ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge. What is your gut? I know Jay Johnson has not tipped his hand on which game. I mean, Kennesaw feels like a team you've got to be careful with. They've been playing well, and that's a pretty decent baseball team. They've got some guys that can swing it. But we've talked so much about winning a regional is not about winning the first game. It's about winning the first 2 games to put you in the driver's seat. And if you can't win against the 3 seed in game 1, you're probably not going to win the regional anyway. Do you think they hold Hilliard for game 2, a potential matchup with Southern Miss?
Well, Pulmonary would. I got a decade of track record to go on that. I got nothing on Jay Johnson. We've done some research on Arizona. He's been the 2 seed twice at Arizona and has thrown his ace in the first game of those regionals. Kennesaw is an offensive team. Their pitching staff is not very good. LSU should score on Friday. That's if you're looking at things fairly objectively. I would throw Ty Floyd, who really, even though his line was not good against Tennessee, if you watch Ty Floyd pitch all year and you watched him pitch against Tennessee, you're talking about a guy who's been well over 90% fastballs all year. He was throwing first pitch changeups. He was spinning breaking balls, and you have to because Tennessee will ambush you and hit it into the trees in Hoover if you don't. And he was fairly effective in that game against the best lineup in the country. I would feel comfortable throwing him out there against Kennesaw State with the ability to go to the bullpen pretty early and get some of those guys in the game if you have to, just to try to save McHale for the first 5 or 6 innings against Southern Miss on Saturday. That's what I would do. That's what Paul Maneri would do based on 12 years of data. I don't know what Jay's going to do.
All right, last thing for you. You know fans are looking for anything when they've got a week to get ready for a game and the stakes are as high as they are. And Southern Miss fans have latched on to this podcast interview that Mikey Montook did with a couple of LSU players and asked them about, feeling snubbed and, the possibility of hosting a super regional and, not looking ahead. And I don't know if there's really that much to make of it. But Southern Miss fans have certainly decided that they are being disrespected by LSU. Have you seen that, and what's your take on it?
It's off my radar, sure. And LSU fans, there's still a purple and gold cap up there with those cross, LSU letters, and they've got the 6 national championships. And the immediate thought is, we're going to Hattiesburg to play some Conference USA team. Like, that's a cakewalk, and that's how fans are wired around here. If you look at this, any form of objectivity whatsoever, Southern Miss is really good. They got 3 really good starters. And I did see the interview that Tanner Hall did with the TV station there in Jackson, where they said, "What if they hold you for LSU? Would you be?" They said, "Yeah, I want them." And that's probably something that can get back to LSU as well. My thing is, when you go out there on a Saturday night, if LSU and Southern Miss are to get there, and you've got 6,000 people in there, and you're playing in the driver's seat game of a regional, if you need some interview from a week ago to get you going, fine. But I think it'll pretty much set the stage for itself. I think it's going to be an awesome weekend of college baseball. I'll be up there on Sunday if LSU is there to do some work on the radio broadcast, and I can't wait. LSU's been sent away 3 times in the last 10 years, and it's been to Los Angeles, Corvallis, and Eugene. So this is a nice breath of fresh air if you got to leave the box. This one's that LSU fans can get to. It should be an awesome weekend in Hattiesburg. I'm looking forward to it.
I agree with you. Weather's going to be great, looks like, and will be a fantastic atmosphere. Hunt, thanks for the insight.